The Drowning God. Chapter 1. The Tide Brings Teeth. The village of Black Tern sat on a stretch of jagged coastline that no map seemed eager to remember. The sea was everything. It fed them, it clothed them, it buried them. Every sunrise, dozens of weather-beaten fishing boats slipped into the gray Atlantic, while gulls circled overhead like starving ghosts. Salt clung to every surface, every rooftop, every cracked window. Even the church smelled of seawater. No one questioned it anymore. Elias Mercer had spent 33 years on those waters. His wife, Mara, had spent nearly as many waiting for him to come home. Their cottage overlooked the harbor, where old trawlers rocked against rotten docks. Every morning, Mara watched the boats disappear into the mist until only the sound of their engines remained. She hated the sea. The sea had taken her father, her brother, their first unborn child, and lately, it seemed hungry again. It happened again, old Finn whispered inside the tavern. Nobody answered. Nobody wanted to. The old fisherman leaned closer over his mug. I heard singing. Several heads immediately lowered. The bartender silently slid another drink toward him. You drank too much. I wasn't drunk. His voice trembled. There were lights beneath the water. Still, nobody looked at him. I saw children walking on the ocean floor. A chair scraped loudly. One fisherman stood and left without finishing his meal. Another crossed himself. Old Finn swallowed hard. They waved at me. Silence. Then someone quietly muttered the words every child in Black Tern knew before they could even walk. Don't answer the sea. That evening, Elias returned with only half his catch. His hands shook as he untied the ropes. You all right? Mara asked. He stared at the water. There weren't any fish. Storm moving in? No. He looked pale. They're gone. What do you mean? I mean, he whispered. There aren't any. The harbor should have been alive. Schools of herring, crabs, seals, even gulls. Instead, nothing. The ocean looked empty, like one giant sheet of black glass. That night, the church bell rang exactly once. Everyone woke. No one moved. The bell hadn't worked in 20 years. The scream came moments later. A man's scream. Then another. Doors burst open all across the village. Lanterns flickered to life. People rushed toward the docks. Elias grabbed his oil lamp. Stay inside. Mara ignored him. I'm coming. By the time they reached the harbor, the screaming had stopped. 5 boats floated peacefully against the dock. Their crews were gone. Only blood remained, not splatters. Pools, thick crimson rivers running across the wood before dripping into the sea. Fishing nets hung shredded, hooks bent backwards. One mast had been twisted into a spiral as though giant hands had wrung it like wet cloth. No bodies, no footprints, no sign of a struggle. Just blood, an impossible amount of blood. Then someone noticed something carved into the dock itself. Not with a knife, with claws. 4 words. He still hungers below. People began whispering old names. Names forbidden for generations. The Tide Father. The Sleeper. The one beneath. Names parents threatened children with to keep them away from the cliffs after dark. Stories. Only stories. Weren't they? 3 days later. Old Finn washed ashore, or most of him did. His torso rested on the beach like discarded meat. His legs had vanished completely. His ribs had been peeled open from the inside. Dozens of tiny seashells had been carefully arranged inside his empty chest cavity. In the center sat something no one had seen before. A perfect black pearl, the size of a human heart. No one touched it. The village priest ordered it burned. It wouldn't burn. When they tried throwing it into the ocean, the tide carried it back, straight to the church steps, waiting, as though it belonged there. That night Mara woke to the sound of dripping water. Drip, drip, drip. She nudged Elias. "Do you hear that?" He was already awake, listening. The sound wasn't coming from outside. It was inside the house. Slowly, very slowly. They followed the noise toward the kitchen. The room was dark, empty, until Elias raised the lantern. Water covered the floor. Salt water, fresh footprints crossed the room. Bare human feet, each one soaking wet. They began at the back door and ended at the bedroom door, as if someone had stood outside, watching them sleep, then walked away without ever leaving the house. Elias gripped the lantern tighter. Mara whispered something she immediately regretted. "Who's there?" The answer came from beneath the floorboards. A child's voice, soft, wet, almost singing. "Come, see what's beneath the tide." The floor suddenly bulged upward. Once. Twice. Then a massive shape pressed against the wood from below, as if something impossibly large had just opened a single eye beneath the house.